So we start with the remaining part of this MATLAB code. So here we will be talking about the output which is stored in a file result.txt. Okay. So for that what we require is some input output commands which are available in MATLAB. So let us go there. So here you see, so far what we have used basically this disp for display function, and we have also used this input function to read something from our user. So if we go here, we will see we have used something, this display to display this stress tensor, and there is some input functions here, this input function. Okay, there are some other use of input function as well. These two are the input, and output display is basically a output function, and this input is a input function. So what we used is basically known as the input output function in MATLAB. Now in MATLAB, because this load, save, etc., these commands we won't use right now. Rather, but we'll go basically how to write in a file. Okay, that means we'll make the storage in a file, right? So how we do that? And to write anything in a file, first thing is to create a file, right? And then we need some function to write in that particular file. So to open the file, we use this command fopen. Okay. So this fopen, it creates the file name what is given there as the argument, or otherwise if the file is already there in the working directory, it will open that file. Then this permission string, okay, here we have the option of reading, writing, and appending. What does it mean? Reading means we'll simply open the file and read its content. We are not writing there. Now, when writing in a file, now say if it is a new file, the file is opened at the very beginning of it and we start writing from the beginning. But if this is an existing file, this file name indicates an existing file. This W mode, this W permission string again will start from the very beginning. And whatever was there in this particular file, it will get overwritten. Clear? So sometimes we need to append something. If we open this file with this append mode, here the keyword of the permission string is A. Then it will open the file and it will go automatically set the current marker at the very end of the content of this file. So it will append. These are the basic operations available. Then there is something uh, more relevant to it. When we are using fopen, it also returns some value. So this particular value is the handle of this opened file. Now, if we open another file using fopen once again, so this is file name 1, we have a file name 2. And these two FID would be different. These two handles would be different, which we can assign as FID1 and FID2. And we can selectively write something in FID1 or FID2. That is possible. And if the opening is not successful, in that case, the return value would be -1. So this is a particular value which we can check whether the file opening is successful or not. That we can check with this corresponding FID value. So if FID is -1, we will display this file open not successful. And then we will do something, etc. And something more is there in writing a file, the conversion into string, etc. Okay. To read a file, these functions are necessary. This is some conversion. Now this is the total code of this file opening part, the full in its full form. So now when our file opening is successful, so next part is writing in that file. So writing to that file, if it is successful, say, that display will not do, because what display function does, it gives output to the monitor, whether it is laptop, desktop, whatever it may be, that is connected with display function. But we require something, some handle of the file for writing in the file. That function is fprintf. Now, are you aware of this fprintf function? Actually, this function belongs to C. Okay. Now, before going into fprintf, let me tell you that whenever we will open a file, so before ending our program will terminate some point of time. We must close the file to keep the data in the file safe. Otherwise, what can happen if this open file with handle FID, if it is not closed, then this particular file, it can collect some garbage. So it is always advisable to close your file before ending the program. Okay. Now, what we observe from here, in writing a file or similarly to read from a file, the MATLAB functions, they use the commands of C. Okay. So this fprintf or whatever the formats and other things, these things are identical with C. Okay. So that is what is prerequisite here. Okay. To make use of this file reading and writing. So let me go into that input output functions of C, that idea would be necessary. Okay, so let us go there. This is the input output functions which are available in C. Now, you see this input output functions, some are meant for console, some are meant for file operation. Okay, these are some of the functions with C. This printf, we have seen that MATLAB command was fprintf. What is this printf, fprintf? Let us see here. But before that, we see what is meant by console and what is meant by file. Console is the fundamental input output device. So the basic input device is keyboard, and you can say mouse is also there sometimes. So the input devices are keyboard, then scanner, the scanf, getS, they read from the keyboard. Then the read function and the data part, where it goes to CPU. And what are the output devices? The basic console is our video monitor, any screen. This is the output part, the screen of desktop, laptop, any other devices. This is basic console. Printer is another output. We use the function, related function is printf and put s, get s, put s. These are console operating functions. Okay. And read and write, they are meant for data reading from the computer memory. Here it writes outputs, that means write into the computer memory, CPU. To CPU means central processing unit, and then it goes into your RAM, ROM, whatever, hard drive, etc. etc. We know what are the memory devices. So I am not going into the details of C here, but this idea is true for MATLAB also. This is the thing. For displaying, we used here the command was disp, and here it was input to get from data from keyboard. So IO function was input, this was display, disp. And for file input output means it is a data going to some data file. Okay. Now, for this file operation, so here you see this console, they are also treated as a file, right? So whether it goes into a computer memory or to the output device, whatever the type for this input output operation is a different data type. Okay. So these are actually known as the stream, right? So whatever goes into the output or comes from the input for the memory part also in reading writing to file, we use this concept of stream, which is basically a stream of data. No, a stream means a flow, a continuous flow, stream of water, stream of something. So this requires a stream of data. This data goes means stream of data goes to CPU or it comes from CPU. For that, for reading and writing, in MATLAB, there are functions scanf and printf. Scanf for reading from the console, from the input device. And for file, it is fscanf, file print. For printing, printf is similar to our display. That means it goes to the output device, the console, the monitor. Or for file, we use fprintf. That is what we have used in MATLAB. Now, for that, this is the basic operation in C. So, whatever I am not going to elaborate on that part. Rather, what I will tell is this thing. In printf and scanf, this is same for fprintf and fscan. Same thing. These are the type of data. Okay. That means when it is a stream of data, what is that type of stream? Okay. That is identified by this symbols. Okay. Percent something. Right. So when we are using this is percent D, D for a digit, say. So this stream is replaced by value of integer value. Sum now. It is percent C, C for character. This stream input or output stream, they are replaced by character variables. F means this is a floating point number, float value. Okay. This is a LF, it is not if. LF stands for long float. What is long float? It is double. C is character, that means this is a single character, A, B, C, etc. And S is for string, that means this is some array of characters. A is a character, but string is apple, right? Word, and this is letter. Clear? What is O? This is something, it means octal code. Okay. This X, this is something in hexadecimal. There are something more, I'm not going into that detail, but this is available in MATLAB as well. It is the same thing. So with printf, fprintf, scanf, fscanf, if we use these features, then the computer through this compiler actually it understands what is the type of stream we are talking about. So it is the same thing. These are some specialities. We are not going to discuss that. So I think you know something about these things in your undergraduate computer programming course, right? Format. Some format comments were there. It is a part of that format comment. Now, in writing, these are special characters. Again, I will talk about these things. Now, our interest here is file input output. So this file pointer is concept in C. In MATLAB, we have file handles. Already seen that part, handle of a file. And whenever we are opening a file, there is a mode, read, write, append, etc. The concepts are same. Whatever is there, here it is F open. In MATLAB also that was F open, right? To open a file. Then there is a file name, then there is a mode, read, write, or append. There are some more features here. Won't discuss them. And then finally, we need to close the file. This command is same in MATLAB also. This F open and F close. These commands are C commands basically. So input output of MATLAB is identical with the input output of C. Any commands in C you can use in MATLAB. So that is the advantage MATLAB has. I have already mentioned that C has the power coming from this input output standardization. Recall the story of Hello World. Could make it hardware independent. So these are some functions in connection with file input output. Okay. So we'll be using fprintf mainly. We'll be using fprintf and file opening mode. Read, write, and append. We have already seen this part. There are some additional features on that. Okay. With read, we can do this thing, that thing, etc. etc. Again, I am not going to discuss that. Closing files. So now, opening a file and closing a file. In between, whatever is the connection between the file and the computer or your code is a stream. That should be clear to you. The type of stream can be different. And then there is a option of changing this type of stream. Because everything comes ultimately in binary. And that way, to understand this stream, what we need to understand is this character codes. These codes, I will talk about these codes, and you see this part also. This file open and close, where they will open or they will close, right? For example, if we use read, it will open for reading at the very beginning, If it is write, it is create, or if it is already there, it will open that file and it will place the marker at the very beginning. So whatever data is there, that will become overwritten. For append, it will open or create text file, writing at the end of the file. So for every file after creation, or if it is already there, the file contains a signature of this end of file. Till it is known as EOF. Okay. This EOF concept is there, which is end of file. So in your program, you can also use this EOF to locate whether you are at the end of file. You are reading from a file. So if you arrive at this EOF, then you have nothing to read. You will stop. So this EOF concept is important, and while closing this file, why closing of the file is necessary? Because if you close the file, the compiler or whatever it may be, the interpreter, whatever, it puts the end of file marker at the end of it. So this is the necessity basically. If it is not there, sometimes it becomes difficult to operate with a file. Right. Then this can be done by rewind function. Other things are there. I am not going to discuss about file IO. What I mean to say is that whatever stream we are using, so In file operation, we are using a concept of stream, and this stream, it can be integer type, real type, double type, character type, string type, whatever. But ultimately, they are in binary form. Clear? So that from binary to a character code, there is a mapping. So that mapping, historically, that mapping is known as ASCII. This stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Now you see how many data are there? Actually 0 to F means 1 to 16. Okay, hexadecimal. Up to this 10, 0 to 9 is 10. A, B, C, D, E, F, so 16. How many rows are there? 0 to 7 means 8. 8 into 16 is 128. So this ASCII code provides you this symbol for 128 characters, right? So you see where it is some special characters in your keyboard also you will find these characters, is it not? These are special characters. Then these are numbers 0 to 9. Again, some special symbols, and then we have the uppercase letters, capital A to capital Z, and smaller case letters, smaller lowercase a to lowercase z. This much is there. These are some commands which are basically your lower level commands. In microprocessor applications, these commands are used. Whatever, we do not know much about these things, but this has got some meaning to computer scientists. So can we find out what is the decimal value of this? It is quite easy. 0 to 16, then 17 to 32, 30. That way we can find out. Ultimately, we'll go to 120. And then you know from binary, or if this decimal number is known to us, we know what is the corresponding binary value. So these are the binary values. Okay. The same thing is shown here in another table. Here the codes are given in binary values. So binary values 1, 2, 3. Now where it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 2 to the power 7 is 128, right? So this is known as ASCII code, but nowadays this was much older. So at that time, computer memory was not that much powerful. So there were only 128 characters available at that point of time. But nowadays, all the computers are at least 32 bits, if not 64 bits. At that point of time, a 8-bit computer was just more than 16-bit was a big thing. So today, what you will find is that ASCII code is now replaced by Unicode. Okay. So any conversion in file conversion, you will see this. Instead of ASCII, there is a term which comes as Unicode. But there also, this first 128 characters, they remain same. They have added 128 more characters. Now features of these things are written here 0 to 1. 31 line and polygon style changes. So here is 31 up to this 16, 31 display. Whatever. There are some features. Uppercase starts from this position, we know what are that particular position, you can find it from this table. So these are some of the concepts we have in C, right? So in MATLAB, what we use here, the F open the same thing, and to writing there, we use F printf for writing, F scanf for reading. Same thing we'll be using. These are some conversion. Okay. The conversion is string to number or number to string. Num to string is conversion numbers to string. Some other functions. Now this is FEOF FID. It gives you that particular position. End of file of this particular file handle. That function is there. These are some useful string comment. These are conversion. Number to string, string to number. They are sometimes necessary. And so here you see when we are reading something in a file, what does it mean? Say in that file we have character this 2, and then there is something INF is there. So the first thing, it will read it as a float number, %f. Next is %c, so it will read this thing as a character. So that way we can control when reading or writing from a file. Here you see, this is some value of sine and cos we have calculated for 10 points. These 10 values. From there we will creating some more, a plus b, d plus d is this thing. So this a, b, c, d will stored in a file. Some file is open first. Where is f open? Function f printf. Anyway, file open and file close part is not here. We have to open a file. And f printf first, whatever is written here within quote mark. Okay. Within quote mark, anything means that this is a character string. So in file reading or file writing, if you do not specify the type of data, it will take file reading, file writing, it takes the data as character. So whenever we are giving this particular symbol within quote, it takes this as a character string. At the end, what is this \n? This means this particular line ends here. So this \n is not part of this text here. This is a control character which is known as a new line character. So what this fprintf will do, it will print up to this much to the open file, and then the marker, the pointer of that file will come into the next line. So the result is, it will start from here. It will print up to this. From there, the marker will come here. Okay. If you do not provide this \n, for the next line, it will start printing from there. So what we are writing here? print A, B, C, D, and again a new line. Okay. So this A, B, C, D are again some characters, character string A, B, C, D, and again a new line. So the file pointer is here now. Again another line. Right. After printing this thing in our open file, the marker position is here, and within a loop, we are printing what we are printing A, B, C, and D. But here, these are not character string now. What is A? A is 6.5F. That means there are 6 spaces available, out of which 5 spaces after decimal place. Okay. And we have 4 variables here A, B, C, D, and we will see there are this 1, 2, 3, and 4. See, total number of space. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And this 0.5 indicates number of places after decimal. Is clear? You can use 6.2 something, but accordingly your output will get formatted. So these are known as format statements. We have seen earlier, can use F, LF, E, X, etc., etc. It was there uh, when we are talking about that LF for long format, etc., etc. That part. The- Is it? Something we had discussed in connection with C, right? Okay, so this much is clear. String a vector of characters. So that we have seen. Percent %C is character and percent %S is a string. A string is an array of characters, a vector. So this is what we are talking about. A is character, but apple is a string. And these are the ASCII table once again, but we have discussed earlier, right? Starting from 0, it will go up to 128, 32, 48, then 64 to 80. Where is some? Oh, where it is? This is up to 48. Something is missing, I think. Okay. Oh, the other part is here from 16 to there. 0 to 16, 16 to 31, 32 to 48, etc. So up to 128. This is actually, if we start from 1, it will become 1. So actually C starts from 0. For any array index, C starts from 0, MATLAB starts from 1. That is one of the fundamental difference between these two. Now, these are MATLAB functions. Okay, these are for checking purpose. Useful string command for checking purpose. So this is what I was talking about. ASCII is replaced by Unicode. Some other functions are there. This lower and upper, they are sometimes very useful. to get yes and no type of data. Whether user gives it in uppercase or in lowercase, you can always change the case. So lower converts string to lowercase and upper converts the string to uppercase. But we have used in our program, we have used 0 and 1. We didn't keep those confusions there. That 0 was for no, 1 is for yes. So that is better for integer comparison. New functions for string, other functions are there, string compare, etc. etc. This string cat is one of the useful functions. This is to join two separate string variable, string data. Say for example, the name might be a variable. Okay, and if we display name colon and then the name of the student. So every time this name colon can be a particular string variable, string 1, then the other part would be string. So if we use this string catenation, concatenate strings horizontally, then string cat, then string 1 and string 2 will produce the another string which is name colon the name of the student. So that is useful. There's some checking and other things. Many other functions are available. Characters, strings, string comparison, etc. So this much we won't be using, so I am not going into the details of that thing is there. Whatever. So let us go into our program, MATLAB program. So our MATLAB program now, this, the new feature we have added, the results are written in a file. Okay. The file is written in a file, its name is result.txt. So where this file will go, where it will be opened. Now everything in MATLAB takes place in the current directory, working directory. So this is our working directory here. This one is our working directory. Right? You see, EKN Saha class note UG MATLAB. Right? In our program also, we are getting that EKN Saha class note UG MATLAB. Right? This is the function. So this file will be opened in this particular directory. So actually, we run this program. This program is already executed. So you see here, this file is created. Clear? If I delete this file, let me delete this. Okay, I've deleted the file. Let me run this program once again. So something, this is what we have already seen, creation of mode circle, not required now. But let us go back into our directory. This file has come again. Okay. So if it is existing, it will open this file and here the option is writing only. So it will overwrite the file. Otherwise, it will create the file and it will start writing from the beginning. Clear? Now let us see what is the content of that file. So okay, open it. So let us make the font size as 20. Okay. So this is the file it has created. This file we have created by executing this program. Here, file is created. This we have seen. Text. So there are various other types of file extensions, okay, that we have mentioned also. Program files are .m. Okay, the environment file is .mat. The data file is .dat. Okay, you can read and write from XLS. That means Excel file. You can open or you can write there. There the extension is .xls. Here we are using a text file, so our file type is mentioned here as .txt. So that you can open this file with your text editing software like Word or anything. By default, it will be opened by Notepad. So this file here, this is in Notepad. Result.txt opened in Notepad. What is the first line? This file is open. We did not make that testing. If this fd1 is -1, then file opening is not successful. So that we can check what is the value of fd1. Not necessary, because already file is there. It is successful opening. Right? Then we have written in this file how this file is mentioned in this fprintf command. The handle of the file is stored in this variable fd1. Right? Actually, fd stands for file descriptor number 1. You can give it f1, f2, whatever, anything. It is always better to give some meaningful name to your variable. So it will, that way it is possible to create another file and keep it handled in fd2. Here fprintf fd1. So it will write in this particular file. This clear? fd1 is reference to that fd1. Results of stress analysis. Here it will go there. Results of stress analysis. Then we have underlined it. Okay, clear? This is the second line. This is the underline. It goes after that. Okay. Again fprintf, same file. Now this is our stress matrix. Then we can change it. If it is changed, we'll get a new value of S. So these are display. So this is what we are getting in our console. In our console means this video monitor. In laptop, this is the video. But what we are talking about is basically file input output operation. Okay, the file. We are not using any scanf function here, or we are not reading from file. We are only writing using it. So whenever our stress matrix is created, either explicitly or we can read it. There is a function for that. And then this stress tensor is written. Again, this fd1 means that particular file, the file which is open. First line here is stress tensor. Stress tensor equal. Now here you see this is a 3 by 3, right? Yes. So how we have written this 3 by 3? Here we have given this 3 floating point here. What is the width of this floating point? 6. And 2 digit after decimal place. 6.2 F for floating number. There is only 3. Afterwards, there is a new line. Now S contains 9 elements, 3 by 3. So this will automatically write S starting from the first element to the last element. So S is stored in an array. So gradually it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it is becoming 3 by 3 that way. This part is clear. Okay. Now what next? If printf this much we did. The next part was direction cosines. So here again we have some direction cosines. This is the given one in the program, or we can change it from the user. So when this is complete, this part is complete, we now write it in this file, direction cosines. Okay. And then the same thing, this variable DCN has only 3 components, okay, nx, ny, nz. It is there. Direction cosines, these 3 components. And then we computed the traction vector and direction cosines, although we can compute the or display the components of the traction vector, etc., etc. Everything is not written in this file. Okay. So this is t vector, and from the t vector we calculated t, capital T, and direction cosine of t vector. This is also we have calculated. We have seen this earlier, and we are writing them in our file. This is the thing. Traction vector, then direction cosine subtraction vector of t. Next line is the values of this dcn t. Previously we put dcn only, and this is dcn t. This is direction cosine of that plane. Then this is traction vector. This is direction cosine of the traction vector. So from there, what we did, we calculated the angle between these two lines, outer normal line given by this direction cosine, and this line along traction vector. Cos theta equal to nx1 into nx2, ny1 into that thing. And then we can find out what is the normal, or the angle between normal and traction vector. This is angle in degrees. Okay. How MATLAB computes these things? When we calculated that cos t, do you remember this is cos t, cos theta equal to this thing, nx1 and nx2 here. So what is theta? Cos inverse. This a cos is cos inverse. Right? Cos inverse of cos t is our theta. What is the data type of this theta? But what is the data type? Is it degree or radian? Angle? No. MATLAB use radian by default. Okay. So we need to convert this theta from radian to degree. Is it clear? So that conversion is R to D, radian to degree. But this is not a function available in MATLAB. Okay. So have we created a function here for R to D? See, we haven't created any function. These are only the functions we have used. Draw mode circle, that was the last function. Afterwards, we didn't create any function, right? It was end of function mode circle, and then this was our end of main function. Yeah, but before that, we have to close the file which is open. So this is the corresponding to f open. We have a f close comment here. So how we are getting this R to D, where it is f printf theta. Where is that theta? Yes, before that, right? Theta. This theta is in radian, and this tt. This is in degree. Theta calculated in degree. Okay. This is stored in tt. So this R to D is a function, a typical function which is known as an inline function. Here you see this inline. Okay. What is inline? It is a very short function. Okay. You see what is inline? We use function explicitly. Who is Ravi Samanto, your friend? Okay. These are some examples of inline. So what is required in inline? There is an argument part, there is an output part also. So this G is the name of this inline function and gives you, if T is input, it gives you T square. Right? So whatever we are calculating is there within this quote mark. The argument is given here. So this particular inline function, hmm, it will be called by this name. It could have been G1, G2, G3, whatever. But it requires two arguments, f and theta. And what would be the output value? This sine 2 pi f plus theta. Here, what is our inline function? Its name is R2D. Right? What is the argument? We have a single argument, x. And what is the output? This x into 180 by pi, because pi radian is 180 degree. So it will convert this x in radian into output in degree. 180 by pi converts this radian into degree. This clear? So this is inline. Short form of a function. Okay. So this is what we did here to display our output in degree. This thing, right? Okay, theta calculated in degree. What next? Then calculation of sigma n and tau n. This is what we, for the purpose of displaying in the monitor, console input output function. And we need to write it in our file also. Traction vector t, this is what we have already written, then theta angle. Afterwards, I have written sigma n and tau n. This sigma n and tau n value in the file. This angle sigma n and tau n, those values are given here. And after Morse circle, actually Morse circle is not required. We calculated principal stresses also. To add them, this is 18, right? 3 plus 6 plus 9 is 18. This is also 18. You add them up. We have seen earlier also. And we have calculated that coefficient of Lode and Nadai. It is there. So this is the thing. We calculated principal stress. From the function, find principal stress. Also from the eigenvalue analysis. And then we drawn Morse circle and calculated this factor, Lode and Nadai's factor. This is the variable where it is stored. So that is written in our file. So this part explains how to store your data in an output file. Okay, this is clear. Anything more? So this is for today. So next, again, we will go into the discussion on Morse circle, the different features of Morse circles, etc., etc. We will be discussing, and again, when we require, we will come back to MATLAB to implement how we make the calculations. So let's stop here.